tort is, we have, again, this tort subject in law school, we studied for 15 weeks. And you guys can cover it in 1 week. So I'm not expecting you to go through a lot of detail. Normally, if somebody is take bar exam, the tort handout I gave you, you got to memorize it. Because when you go to take a bar exam, you got to spontaneously write the definition. So, or let's say somebody hit you, somebody punched you. Let's say you got into argument in school, and somebody punched you. You have two course of action. You can call police, arrest him, or you can file the civil lawsuit. And now civil lawsuit, you are looking for money compensation. Criminal, basically, when you call the police, you are not looking for money compensation, but you want him to go through some tough time, either in jail or get probation, whatever. And once he is charged by criminally, and he has to hire his attorney, you're gonna at least make him pay for it. So basically, two types of action, and that's intentional tort. Somebody intentionally hit you. But when we go to anything from at the bottom level here, so this course of action, intentional tort, can go to criminally, or it can go to civil-wise. But anything below here, there are money compensation, such as defamation. Somebody bad mouth you around. When you didn't steal any money, somebody said he stole the money. Now this area it get a little more complicated because there's a special law for famous people, celebrities. Let's say we all want to talk about Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Whenever we say anything about Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, if they file a lawsuit against us, then they are basically, we have our freedom of expression in this country. So I have my right, freedom of expression. But Angelina Jolie also like to keep her privacy. So there is balance. In what case can she file the lawsuit? Now, negligence is mostly popular case when you get into accident, automobile car accident. Normally, let's say if you stepped on banana, or something peel, or you stepped on something in the market and you fell, you got hurt. That's all negligence. Negligence, in other words, is mistake. Means when you get into automobile accident, you didn't get into accident. You basically got into accident by mistake. Now, I think more business-wise, more related field is mostly negligence and product liability. Product liability is, let's say, what happened to GM nowadays? GM basically record many numbers of automobile, right? Then GM to record, let's say, over 100,000 automobile, that's going to cost a lot of money to GM. And nuisance is basically somebody pollute the area. So let's just go through what we have in the handout. Like first one is intentional tort. Now battery is when somebody hit you. So battery, the difference between battery and assault is battery means there was some physical contact. It does not have to be punch it can be very offensive contact, especially female. Some male, touch them. Let's say even in the workplace, some male just can go, "Hi, how are you?" and rub their back. That's battery, because there was touch. And when you see the definition, it said battery is an act by defendant bring harmful or offensive contact. So this harmful or offensive contact is something was not invited. Some male, old man can approach young female and say, "I like your dress." Touch, offensive contact. Offensive means like that, or offensive means something I don't like. So normally, if there is a relate to sexual matter, sexual harassment, or we call sexual battery, means somebody offensive contact, means physically offensive contact. Assert is an act by defendant creating reasonable apprehension in plaintiff of immediate harmful or offensive contact. So difference between assert and contact is assert was just threatening, apprehension, something shocking, but there was no contact. So he said, "I'm gonna kill you." That's assert. There was no contact, right? You know what's the funny of Koreans? Koreans, we normally said, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you." That's a habit of Korean men. That's, every country has their own some kind of a slang, right? When you are in bad relationship, you said, I don't know, Korean, we said, "I'm gonna kill you." That's kind of a slang. Not really, I'm gonna kill you, but I said, "I hate you," right? So what happened was Koreans, a lot of Koreans, they sell sunglasses on the beach, or we call swamits. So a lot of Koreans were selling the sunglasses, but they are competing each other, right? And there are this boardwalk, let's say beach boardwalk. A lot of people walk around, and Koreans are selling hats and sunglasses. And they easily get into argument because they are selling competitive item. I'm selling sunglasses today. Next week, that guy's bringing another sunglasses and beginning to sell next to mine. So he was selling different item, but this week, that son of a bitch is selling same thing as I am. You go, "Cow!" So they get into the argument, and this Korean say, "I'm gonna kill you." What happened? He called police. Literally, police think, and he said, "I'm gonna kill you." And we call it deadly threat. That's called $50,000 in a bond, just to get out from the jail. Because in this country we have a gun. When somebody said in this country, "I'm gonna kill you," it means I'm gonna kill you with a gun. That's how court interpreted it. That's how the police interpreted it. So this guy is saying, I was just kidding." That's how the Koreans said. The police said, "Did you say you're gonna kill him?" Said, "I did, but," said, "You said it." They arrest him right there. Take him to the jail, and the bond for him to come out, $50,000. That's called felony bond. So how much did it cost him?
And then you mean the threat is assault, right? Threat.
But that's deadly threat means deadly threat is more serious. Assault is called misdemeanor. Misdemeanor is you don't go to jail. You don't go to jail more than 1 year. Felony means you can go to jail more than 1 year. So just simple because of different culture, but it gets quite serious. And also in the Korean grandparents, when they see male child, they actually said, "Oh, big guy, man's penny, and the little touching little kids, male, female's penny, and said, very healthy, right? That's custom in Korea. This old grandparents, grandpa,
Traditional.
meet white kids, white parents on the street. Then say, I don't know whether he was not wearing diaper, said, God, you look healthy. They call police. Sexual battery, right? Yeah. This old man can't speak even English. He got arrested, and he called attorney, and we go to church. So basically, we have to. He has to spend a lot of money. Now sexual assault, like, minimum another 50,000 is a felony. $50,000 bond. Like then normally, if there's a bond broker, then he needs to pay $5,000 cash. That's losing money. And he has to hire an attorney. 3,000. God, he's just because of one mistake, they are spending $8,000 for nothing. Yeah. And between husband and wife, Korean man is very hyper. So when they get into argument, they slap the wife. The wife pick up the phone, call police. Police come and arrest the husband. Another $50,000 right there too. Bond, right? And they regret. They get together. Next day they are fine. What happened? Now, normally, interesting is wife called the police. But basically, even though wife always said, tell police, I didn't mean it. I don't want to arrest him now. I don't want him to proceed the charge. But too bad. Once the police come, even the wife said, I excuse him, I forgive him, that doesn't matter. Police will take a picture of everything, and they already got evidence. And during the trial, during the whole proceeding, husband and wife, they hold their hair together, front of judge, always. So that's irony. But if the male have a habit of hitting wife, they have to go through that process once. Then they stop hitting wife. But if the wife, they don't call police, he will anytime whenever he get mad, he's gonna use his hand. So that's battery. That's assault. Okay. False imprisonment is an act on the part of defendant that confine or restrain the plaintiff to confined bounded area. Normally, this false imprisonment, normal case is so-called at the bottom it says shoplifting detention, right? It means, let's say, many Koreans even also, they make the same mistake. They walk into CVS or Sears. Hey, nobody's watching. They buy the belt. Good belt. They just walk out, right? And also another problem is now all the case I'm saying is these were actual cases that I had there before. When the video game came out first time, video game was $50 or sometimes $80. Whenever they go to like Costco or whenever they go to the store, the kids beg their mother, I want to buy that, and I said, not today. What does kid do? Put in their pocket. When they try to get out, they are all watching upstairs. They caught that. Because they didn't want to spend $50, now they have to spend for attorney, criminal charge. Gets pretty complicated, right? Now what happened, let's say some lady go to fitting room and dress a lot of things, and she comes out and fitting room somebody watching upstairs. But they cannot watch fitting room inside, but they suspect this lady is wearing something under her dress. then they do have, a store have their right to take her their office. And they have right to inspect her. Only person who can inspect her has to be female. Male cannot do inspection. Then we have a young student eager to learn law. She'll be a lawyer in the future. Then basically, on the back, it took them more than 1 hour. Why? Because they said, we have to wait for manager. Manager will inspect you. Manager, when he went to bank, and they took her, so store manager came 1 hour later, they inspected her, found nothing. She goes out and said, you guys humiliate me, I'm not just gonna walk out, I'm gonna file the lawsuit against you. Can she succeed? What do you think? Now this case has been there were so many cases like this, so there's a case law. Case law is if the store kept her more than 30 minutes, she has a case. So court made a time limitation. So they cannot keep any customer more than 30 minutes for inspection. So this was actual case law court had to decide because there were just so many cases. And another situation is when the person went into fitting room. Manager thought there's nobody in the store, so they locked the door, went home. When they came back in the morning, there was somebody in the store, so he was stuck in the fitting room for whole night. That's also false imprisonment. So I don't think there's really no real case like unless kidnapping. But in our business-wise, every day, in day-to-day business-wise, those are very popular false imprisonment laws. Okay, next one is intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now this is a case where I used to handle some of this lawsuit between Koreans, because I'm Korean, because I took a lot of Koreans. It doesn't mean that Koreans are bad, but I just have a lot of Koreans examples. Koreans just, like between Korean association, probably there is Chinese association, Indian association. So much fighting each other. Everybody said, I'm the man. They want power because when they go to Korea, they treat like congressmen. And Korean government also pay them some salary. I was involved in a lot of lawsuits between, especially athletic organization. This World Cup Olympic, outside it looked great, that everybody is harmony. Inside, so much power struggle. These people who've been doing, and how many different type of sports are there? Especially Olympic. World Cup is just soccer, but Olympic is every kind of sports, right? Even ping pong, badminton, wrestling. There's a present in every sport. I'm talking about let's say Korean, this association. Then there are so much of these lawsuits. The reason is now they all filed the lawsuit for this intentional infliction of emotional distress. Even Korean senior group, they all fighting each other. I don't know, they are old. I don't know why they keep on fighting. They're retired, so I think everybody should live a happy life, right? Well, not really. They got nothing to do, so they are struggling for power. That's interesting. So they all come into office and they say, I want to file the lawsuit to him. I want to file the lawsuit to them. So take a look at this element. Element means that's something they have to satisfy to win the lawsuit. Number one, it said, act by a defendant amounting to extreme and outrageous conduct. That's very, it's hard to say what is extreme and outrageous conduct, right? So anyway, they can say, yeah, I mean, he really bad mouths on me and he always give me stress. Number two, intent on part of defendant to cause plaintiff to suffer severe emotional distress and recklessness as to affected defendant. So here, intent, I mean, he intentionally did it, so we can maybe satisfy. Number three, causation. I mean, he caused my emotional distress. Number four, damage is the major problem. Damage, severe emotional distress. For anybody to prove damage, they either need a record that they went to doctor or psychiatrist. And everybody, most people just don't have evidence of damage. So I tell them, did you go to the hospital? No. So what's your damage? Whenever I think about him, I can't just sleep. I really, I understand you really hurt your feeling, but you don't have any documentation. So why don't you go to the psychiatrist? Then maybe he can give you some type of document saying that because of severe emotional distress, you cannot sleep, you have to take a medicine and all that, but they don't want to spend money for going back. So this is interesting. Another thing is this. Another comment on damage is this. Let's say let's say you buy the canned food. Let's say you buy some canned food, maybe whatever. Then you open the canned food and you found a bug. Now, do you think you have a case against manufacturer or Safeway who sold that product?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now actually that's the negligence lawsuit. We're gonna go through that later. But again, in the negligence, they require also damage. That's another problem. A lot of people actually bring open can into law office, and they say, "I found a bug. I want to actually file the lawsuit," and they think they got a big case. Gosh, although they think they have a claim to this canned food company. The problem is damage. What damage did you? So I said, did you eat it? And also, when did you have to go to the doctor? No, I didn't eat it. There's a bug in it. So okay, you found the bug. So what's the damage? There is a damage, and I got scared, and so you have nightmare. Yeah. So what prove you have nightmare? I had some nightmare, so you have to go to again doctor or psychiatrist or something, and you need somebody saying you are having nightmare, and you are the psychiatrist also gave you prescription to do that. So it sounds like easy case, but it's not easy case. So yeah, the damage is always a problem, but a lot of people think it's a slam dunk, but it's not always slam dunk. There is always so-called element. You have to satisfy these elements. If you cannot satisfy one element, your case is out. So when you said you have to meet 4 elements, it means you have to prove all 4 points at the court. So you don't have a case. Okay, now intentional tort to property is not really important. Like trespass is somebody walk into your land And then you can call, nowadays actually you just call police. Unless somebody broke something in your land, really there, again, what's the damage there too? So now trespass to chattel is somebody coming into, somebody take your possession, anything. Let's say, somebody, even your fellow students next to you, he took your cell phone. Actually, again, in the criminal wise, that's theft. You can call police and you'll be arrested, or if you want your money damage, you can file the lawsuit under trespass to chattel. Conversion is something more serious. Now, most of the conversion cases is this. Somebody said, like especially I think lady, somebody came and somebody said, hey, can I borrow your dress for one day? I'm dating them. And they took the dress, and when they brought it back, it was not the same condition. Then conversion is you don't have to take that back. You can say, I don't want it. You keep it, give me money. That's conversion. Means I want money. You have altered my dress, or let's say you basically my fancy dress, but you put it into laundry machine and you shorten it, something. Many cases in conversion cases this because we have a car here. Friend said, hey, can I borrow your car? I need to go for a job interview. I want to borrow it for 1 hour. He took the car, he took his girlfriend, went to, let's say, nearest a casino place, Atlantic City. And he spent 1 day and come back next day. Here's car back. Legally, that's called conversion. You may not take it back. You say, you keep it, give me my car money. Conversion means that it sounds pretty unrealistic, but that's the decision of court.
So he can ask him to get the money, the more than the worth.
Yeah, the conversion is basically
Basically, the car worth is $100,000, so he can ask 3,000, right?
legally,
Yeah.
but maybe he doesn't have money. That's the problem. Legally, yes, you can claim. Probably he doesn't have money, $100,000. Like I had when I was young, it was at the time the Datsun just came up with a new sports car. One friend said, "Hey, I'm going out to date. Let me borrow your Datsun sports car." So another friend gave him the car, and he got into big crash.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, total loss. And the guy who borrowed the car said, hey, you have insurance. I don't have to pay for it because automobile insurance will cover you. But if he actually filed a lawsuit, he could get total amount. But between friends, basically insurance covered it. So he didn't have to pay for it. Okay, as far as the defense to intentional tort, defense, I think most, like consent is like when two friends get into fight. If they consent, say, hey, let's step out together and let's settle it today. It means they consent, so they cannot file a lawsuit each other for battery. Now, defense of other is also interesting. Since this is a law course, I will not get into too much detail. But defense of other means you were walking on the street and some girl was getting slapped from her boyfriend. And you're a pretty righteous guy, and you go there and you hit the boyfriend. But actuality was the boyfriend was not trying to hurt her. Maybe trying to take some dust from her face. So you made a mistake, right? So then the problem is, can that boyfriend file the lawsuit against you? Here, when you look at the defense of other, he said, actor need only to have a reasonable belief that person being aided would have right of self-defense. So his mistake is allowed. As long as you think, you thought she was getting hurt. That's reasonable belief. Then you have defense. So as long as you thought she was getting slapped from her husband, from her boy, the stranger at the time probably didn't know that was her boyfriend. The thing is, never get interfere in husband and wife fight or boyfriend girlfriend fight. Let's say husband and wife were fighting each other, right? And husband was beating her wife on the street, and you jump in, and you're protecting wife, and as soon as you throw one punch on the husband, the wife will try to kill you. Ah! Why did you hit my husband? So, mind your own business. Especially between boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay. Self-defense. Necessity. Other ones are important. Necessity means sometimes you have to. Now this necessity is, let's say, this lady was walking on the street with her son, and suddenly the dog behind the fence not jumped out, but he put his neck between the iron and bite her. So mother took her son, ran to the hospital, and doctor said, do you know if that dog has been, if he got a shot? She said, I don't know. Then the dog said, you have to bring that dog. I need to examine him. Brave mother, go in there and jump over the fence, and I don't know, she somehow grabbed a dog and bring that dog to the hospital. This is our question from the bar exam, so maybe it's not real situation. Now, she will be charged with theft because she jumped it, or maybe trespassed the shadow. Answer is no, it was necessity to protect her son. So that's the example. Okay, discipline. I don't know. Nowadays, whenever the parents hit the child said, I'm going to call police. That's a complaint from all my friends. Whenever they try to do something, these kids nowadays in the States say, I'm going to call police. Don't you dare put your hands on me. I don't know, maybe in your country whether that's possible, but yeah, kids nowadays you can't touch them. Okay, then we have, let's go to this defamation area. I think we will cover defamation, then let's take a break.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, not yet.
Not yet?
5 more minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. Defamation. Now, defamation means basically somebody bad mouths about you. So there's 4 elements to defamation. Number 1 is we're on page 3. Defamatory language of or concerning plaintiff, it means you. Publication says something about the people. Damage. Damage is again, they ruin your reputation. That can be damage, right? The issue is, let's talk about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie again. Now, because of there are a lot of these celebrities who are filing a lawsuit because of People's Magazine or newspaper, Supreme Court walk in. And Supreme Court, now because it involved Constitution, because from normal people like me, it's my freedom of expression, freedom of opinion, and my right to know by right to know about the common thing. You know, from the Brad Pitt's point of view, hey, my right of privacy. I don't want anybody to, I don't want anybody to talk about me. But they have to pay their price. They are famous people. They are celebrities. So Supreme Court said, okay, if any famous people or celebrity wants to file a lawsuit, they added two more elements. One is basically falsity. It means that, let's talk about People's Magazine wrote about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Let's say Brad Pitt had an affair behind Angelina Jolie in past 10 years, and they put sad face of Angelina Jolie. And Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt filed a lawsuit against People's Magazine, said that is false. That is lie, right? One more element, second element they have to pay is called malice. Malice means they intentionally did it with bad heart. They tried to hurt me. So if Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt wants to file the lawsuit against People's Magazine, they have to prove two more things. That story was false. Number two, it was done with malice. They intentionally tried to ruin my reputation. So without that, Angelina Jolie has no case. The famous, actually, this defamation case was, I think there's a men's magazine, Hustler. Nowadays, you guys, even all these photos, we all actually use computer because there's no evidence. But before computer age, there was a Playboy magazine, a lot of men's magazine, right? This Hustler magazine is they put a lot of this cartoon, or in the cartoon they mix the photo. So one time they put the